Some of the most common questions from people who come to Dubai to buy some properties is why ready properties can cost cheaper than those under construction, what we call in Dubai off-plan. Well, that might be sounding strange, but that's how it should be on a growing market. That's normal. That's how healthy market should be operating. And this is why for any given area, let's say I'm in Creek Harbor right now, the building is called Address, one of the best projects by Mar. When they started developing this area, and you see there were a lot of towers planned to be developed in Dubai Creek Harbor. The first towers were selling at X price. Next towers introduced to the market were X plus 5% per square foot. After them, another plus 3 or 5%. So if developer is launching, let's say 3 or 5 buildings per year, it means that you are buying in the beginning of the year at the X price. By the end of the year, this price from developer, anything you can get from developer is X plus 15 or X plus 25%. If developer follows this logic, then by the handover time of your property with premium will be still cheaper than anything you can get from developer. That's how balance is kept properly, and developer is protecting interests of different investors. Those who buy on early stages, in 2 or 3 years, they can resell these properties to those who do Airbnb business, those who are end users. And by the way, there are other reasons why prices for properties are growing, and each other launch coming to the market is more expensive than the previous. First, the inflation and cost of construction is constantly growing because since COVID, you can feel it's the rising cost of doing anything in any field. You can feel the inflation yourself. The second point is that the market is not mature yet. They're still improving every aspect of properties they build. And let's say in the early building, in all the buildings, you couldn't get cold water during summer, during heat, because all the pipes were quite hot, and there was no option to get a cold water. Now, in this particular building and some others, you can get water chillers for tap water inside the building, so that whenever you're opening your tap, you have cold water, hot water, regardless of the temperature outside. Same applies to AC systems, to fire monitoring systems, to everything else in every building. So the quality and the lifespan of materials, the safety of systems, elevators, etc., so that all these improvements, they also cost money. Whenever you are buying something 10, 15 years old, you should keep in mind that these were the first projects built in Dubai as a new city. Since then, the quality of projects has significantly improved, and it is unjust to say that you get the same properties in previously built communities and in new communities. There is a big difference. And even, let's say, floods and heavy rains. In Creek Harbor, it was completely dry because there were storm water collectors, there were drainage all around, and you couldn't see any water in the street right after the rain finished. There were no floods, no water in the streets, nothing, just because the community itself was properly built and planned from the beginning. So if you want to successfully resell your property, to successfully exit them, your offer, your property should be more attractive than anything you can get by a developer in 2 or 3 years. So if you want to invest properly, then your property on secondary market by the time of handover should be more attractive in terms of price, in terms of sizes, than anything what a buyer can get from developer by that time. It's the only condition why your property would be picked from the market. If you will be competing with developer in the same price range, but yours is ready and someone needs to pay 100% and developer gives installments, you will be stuck with the property until developer sells the whole area. So that's why I like Emar's communities and projects, for keeping the balance between different groups of users. First, investors, they are buying at the lowest entry price. With every next building introduced to the market, Emar is raising the price So it's keeping the balance between first investors, those who buy for renting out in the middle of construction of the area. Then when the community is ready, when end users' attention is attracted by the project, then both those who bought the very first properties and those who bought in the middle for renting out, they win, they make money. That's how the balance between them is kept. Imagine a different situation. You buy a property from a developer and every next building or next phase of the same project is the same price. So you buy at the X price. In 2 years, still, developer has offers at the X price. What is the reason for a buyer to pick your property from secondary market instead of buying directly from developer? And you should always keep in mind that on secondary market you are paying 4% DLD, the same as an off-plan, but for any secondary deal you will be paying 2% brokerage fee from buyer's side and from seller's side. So inevitably it increases the price of property by 8% at the minimum. If your plan is to resell property to gain capital appreciation, you should be looking for developers and communities where every next building, every next project will be appreciating in terms of price per square foot and due to developers' policy. So the developers that have this policy of increasing the price per square foot in new projects in any given area, these are the best to pick for flipping. But if you are applying for mortgage, you are end user, it makes absolute sense for you to go for ready properties which will be cheaper than anything you can get from developer in the same community. So depending on your goals, as I always say, if you are buying something for capital appreciation, or you're buying something for renting out, or for personal use, in each of 3 cases, it will be a completely different selection of projects, developers, and areas. You cannot combine all in one. And I made a separate video where setting the goal in the very beginning and choosing one goal is the very first thing to start with, and failing to do this is one of 5 most common mistakes that lead to 80% of bad deals in Dubai. Check this video if you want to know more, and in the description I've left the links for calendar booking or directly WhatsApp messages if you need further information.